This is a short PowerPoint about how to do reverse calculations, which is a way to check your answers. So what are reverse calculations? Well, it's always good practice to check your answers as you work. There are different ways to do this, but the best way is with a reverse calculation. So addition is the reverse of subtraction, multiplication is the reverse of division, and vice versa. So we're going to have a look at some examples to see what this looks like in practice. First of all, reversing addition. Let's say we have a sum like this, 78 add 37, and our answer is 115. We're going to use a reverse calculation to check whether that number, 115, is correct. So to reverse an addition, we move the second number of the sum to the end and change the plus symbol to minus. So our original sum is like this, 78 add 37 equals 115, and we're going to take that plus 37, move it to the end, and then the plus symbol becomes a minus. So we're going to do this sum, and if our answer is correct, it will match the first number of the original sum, which is 78. So this is our sum that we're going to do, 115 minus 37. So we're going to do good practice again and set out everything in columns. So we've got our 100, tens and units column. We set out our sum and we're going to do it. So I'll just very quickly talk you through this subtraction sum. So 5 minus 7, first of all, we can't do. So we borrow, that 1 becomes a 0. We put the 1 that we borrowed in the units column. We do 15 minus 7, which is 8. In the tens column, we can't do 0 minus 3, so we borrow from the hundreds. That becomes 0. And we put the 1 that we borrowed in the tens column, so we get 10 minus 3, and that's 7. So our reverse calculation has come out with the answer of 78, and that is the original first number in the original sum. So we know that our original sum is correct. Let's see how it works when our first answer is wrong. So we're going to do an example which we get wrong, and then we'll check it. So we're going to use this sum, 652 add 274. Again, let's set it out in columns. We'll go through it quite quickly. 2 add 4 is 6. 5 add 7 is 12. So we put the 2 in that column. But we're going to forget to carry the 1. So in our hundreds column, we're going to do 6 add 2, which is 8. So that answer of 826 is actually wrong, but let's assume at the moment that we don't know that. So we'll do a reverse calculation to check this answer. So again, to reverse it, move the second number of the sum to the end and change the plus symbol to minus. So 652 add 274, our answer is 826. We're going to move that plus 274 to the end. It becomes minus 274. And then we'll use the column method to work this sum out. So that's the sum that we're doing. We're going to use our columns. So I'm borrowing as normal. And then this last column, we get 7 minus 2, and it's 5. So the first number in the original sum was 652. So from this answer, we can see that there's a mistake somewhere. So at this point, if you've done your reverse calculation, you know you've made a mistake. You would go back and look at your original sum to find out where that mistake was. So we're going to look at reversing subtraction. I'm going to show you at first in the same way that I showed you how to reverse addition. So we're going to use this sum as an example, 926 minus 274, and our answer to this is 652. So to reverse the subtraction, we move the second number of the sum to the end and change the minus symbol to plus. So 926 minus 274 equals 652. We're going to take that minus 274, move it to the end and change the minus symbol to a plus. So when we do this sum, if the answer is correct, it will match the first number of the original sum. Now I'm going to show you how to set this out using columns. So we're going to look first at the original subtraction sum. So this isn't the addition sum that we created, it's the original subtraction. And if we set this out in columns as normal, we do our borrowing as we would normally do, and that's the answer we get. And then we're going to take those two numbers at the end, 274 and 652, and we'll add them together. So if you are using columns to do your sums, this is a good way to set it out. Draw a little box around those last two numbers, turn it into an addition sum, and then perform it. And your answer, if everything's correct, will match the top number of your sum. So now we've got reversing multiplication. So our sum we're going to use as the example is 74 times 8, which is 592. That's the answer we've got. So to reverse the multiplication, move the second number of the sum to the end and change the times symbol to divide. So 74 times 8 equals 592. I'm going to take that times 8, move it to the end and change it to a divide. And again, if when we do the sum the answer is correct, it will match the first number of our original sum. So let's quickly do this one. So despite how it's written on the previous slide, all in one line, you should use the bus stop method for division. And I do have a video about how to do this if you're not sure. But we're just going to go quite quickly through it for the purposes of this presentation. So we set it out using the bus stop. Then we look at these numbers. We cannot do 5 divided by 8. So instead we're going to look at the first two numbers together as 59. So 59 divided by 8 is 7. It gives us 3 left over. So 32 divided by 8 is 4. And that does match the first number of our original sum. So we know that that's correct. Finally, now reverse division. You probably guessed how to do this. Let's say we have a sum like 635 divided by 5. We set it out of the bus stop. 6 divided by 5 is 1 with 1 to carry. 13 divided by 5 is 2 with 3 to carry. And 35 divided by 5 is 7 with nothing to carry. So let's check that that answer is correct. That's the sum we've just done, and that's the answer we've got, 127. To reverse division, move the second number of the sum to the end and change the divide symbol to times. So 635 divided by 5 equals 127. We're going to take that divided by 5, move it to the end and turn the divide symbol into a times. And again, if the answer is correct, it will match the first number of the original sum. So this is the sum that we're going to do. We're going to use the column method, and if you're not sure how to do this, I do have another video explaining how to do it. But for the purposes of this video, I'm going to go through it quite quickly. So we set out our sum. We do 5 times 7, which is 35. So put the 5 in that column and carry the 3. 5 times 2 is 10. Add 3 is 13. So put the 3 in that column and carry the 1. 5 times 1 is 5. Add 1 is 6. And that answer we've got there matches the first number of our original sum. So we know that that is correct. So why do reverse calculations? Because it's just more work, isn't it? Well, yes, it is. But checking your work is always good practice. And a reverse calculation is an effective way to spot mistakes because you don't simply repeat the original sum where you may repeat the mistake. So rather than just doing exactly the same thing and risking making exactly the same mistake, you are doing something different. It gets your brain working in a different way and it's a good way to check your work. It's also an easy way to get marks on the functional skills exams if that's what you are doing or what you are planning to do in the future. So I hope this video has been helpful. and that you now understand how to do reverse calculations. As I say, I do have videos on how to do addition, subtraction, multiplication and division if you need to revise those skills as well.